Hi everybody. I've been a bit slack on the videos because it's been so noisy around here. It's spring and so I'm surrounded by lawn mowers, leaf blowers, mechanical mulchers, boys and their toys, and I thought if I don't just push on and do them, you mightn't hear from me for a month. So here we are, and today I thought I'd do Taylor Swift and a little bit of a look on Nikki Hayley's very strange Resignation. So let's have a look. Taylor Swift, bless her for doing that. I would have preferred she did it a bit earlier so people had more time to register, particularly young voters, but she did it anyway, so it's better than nothing. So we know there's been a little bit of a spike, but my question is, will it actually make a difference? So let's start there and then we'll look at the candidates. So Taylor Swift, let me pull this down. Taylor Swift's contribution, will it make a difference? Will it make a difference? In Tennessee. Oh, there's the mechanics again. Hopefully you can't hear it too badly. Taylor Swift, will it make a difference? She's got a massive following globally. Taylor Swift, will it make a difference? All right. Press card, women celebrating. Oh, not too bad at all. So, we have the Eight of Pentacles, the Apprentice card, but it's also working on the small things. So, given that she has a huge following, let's hope that by her making her contribution, she's big as a singer but small as a political interventionist, let's hope that paying attention to detail, that would be paying attention to living in a democracy, working at that might help. I'm thrilled to see the Three of Cups, women celebrating. So that's promising. The question was, is it enough? And this is the card of, is it enough? Question mark. So this is the Seven of Pentacles card, the Harvest, wondering if enough has been done. So if you see, those two sort of relate as Pentacle cards, right? Looking at the small print and is it enough? So it's sort of reflecting the question back in a way. Then there's the Knight of Wands. Wands are energy and fire. This is the outcome card. You'd think would bode well. She's in this mini reading. She's the knight going forward, but with caution. If you see that the horse is sort of being held back a bit. So she obviously thought long and hard about doing this because she risks probably losing followers who love the GOP and who think Christian fundamentalism is a great idea. So for her own reasons, she was a bit cautious, but knights are good and knights are an opportunity. So you'd say from that, cautiously, it can make a difference. So now we need to get into the nitty-gritty. Let's do the Senate first. And so that's Bredesen, his name, I think, versus the truly awful Marsha Blackburn. I just had a quick few-minute look on who the candidates were and was shocked by Martha Blackburn's record. She voted against equal pay for women. Right? This is a woman voting against equal pay for women. She wanted to pull out the funds, I think she did on some level, pull out the funds for Planned Parenthood. I never understand that. Why people who are against abortions. They should be for contraception and Planned Parenthood, but no, it's a job lot. So she's against Planned Parenthood. She actually voted against more funding for a Violence Against Women project. She's spectacularly awful. So that's Marsha Blackburn, the Republican. So let's see, I'll do Bredesen on the left and Blackburn on the right, okay? So let's have a look. Bredesen versus Marsha. Oh, God. Come on, Tennessee. Moving on. At least go into the 20th century, not the 21st. One of my Tennessee viewers commented and pointed out that Tennessee is very mixed from the point of view of Nashville, and other places are quite diverse and tolerant, and then you have other parts of Tennessee. Oops. So this is Bredesen versus Blackburn. Let us see. Bredesen. Emperor and Hierophant. Oh. 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 Okay. I'm a happy camper with this, although I don't quite understand the Bredesen cards. We'll do those first. So there's a coming together and a deal being struck, and people, it's a very cooperative card. It's a very nice card. It's not dissimilar from the Lovers. So it's the Two of Cups, the bringing together of ideas and emotions, with the Lion that I have described previously as the Trump lion sort of hovering overhead. But given he's a Democrat, that bodes well, people coming together. He also gets the Emperor, meaning he's up against Trump, right? Trump is the Emperor in my readings. He also gets the Hierophant, and the Hierophant being government and law and order. But what I see in this, it's a very ecclesiastical card. It has a very church-like quality. It's like the Pope with the subordinate monks. And I think the problem is not so much the Catholics in Tennessee. It's that evangelical thing. So he's up against Trump and he's up against the church. Now I see what it's about. He's up against Trump. He's up against the church. But it looks like he manages to bring people together. Oh, I so hope so. Now, as for the fascist Marsha, her cards are not marvellous at this point, you'd have to say. So, the Four of Cups, two meanings, there's many meanings, but two main meanings. One is the offer that you're not really attracted to and wish you didn't have to do. And the other is a reevaluation of your values. Now, I don't think she is the sort of person that would ever question her own values. So it's like it could be that this race is very close and she has to do some sort of deal with people leading into the last minute election phase. That could be the offer that she doesn't want. She's a vengeful person, hasty revenge. The sword is up and out there. She doesn't care. She sees herself, obviously, as the guardian of truth, justice, and the American way. She sees herself as leading the charge on these values. But a point about this card is the sword actually leaves the perimeter of the card. There's an out-of-control element to this Knight, right? And I'm thrilled to report, viewers, her outcome card is the Nine of Swords. Not sleeping, not happy. Oh, please, please. So from that, I'd say Bredesen, I hope. I'm keeping a record of these so we can come back after the event and see what the tally is of what I get right and wrong. Okay. So, the next we move to the House of Reps, and Taylor Swift is backing Jim Cooper, and he's up against Jody Ball. Now again, I think this is going to be a very tough race. My little very quick dip into these two candidates. You've got Jim Cooper, who seems like a very reasonable man and who also teaches health on some level, models of health and stuff. So he would understand the complexity of the issue on health care. But Jody Ball apparently is a very, Jody Ball is quite a popular candidate. He's a native of Tennessee, ex-cop, but he also seems to have a brain and is not the nastiest guy in the world. And people like new blood, and he has said that thing that new voters like, which is, I am there for you, my office is there for you, I will talk to every single person who wants to talk to me. It's a bit like the Beto O'Rourke approach. And so that goes a long way with voters. So I think this is going to be very close. So what I'm going to do is Jim Cooper on the left and Jody Ball on the right. Tennessee. Jim Cooper versus Jody Ball. Jim Cooper and Jody Ball. Okay. Oh, this is very interesting. All right, in Jim Cooper Democrat reading, we've got the Knight of Wands, who's a very dignified knight. He's a knight who cares, a knight who wants to look after people. So he is a decent man. There's no doubt about that. The Queen of Swords. So the swords are truth and justice. So he has truth and justice on his side. He also has a very good mind. So he's capable of explaining some of these complex issues to people. That's in his favour. His outcome card is the past. Nostalgia, meaning I think he's there now and he might represent the past to new voters, like I said. Not sure what to make of that card. Jody Ball, on the other hand, has a curious mix. He gets the sun first up and over it, which is very good and bountiful and speaks to success. He also has what I call the Republican card, Mum, Dad and the 2.5 rainbow children. So he very much appeals to that. And if it wasn't for the third card, I'd be going, oh, he's a shoo-in with the sun and the Happy Days Republican card. But strangely, because he's not horrible like Marsha what's-her-name, he gets the death card. He gets the death card. Okay, so the end of a cycle, a dramatic and complete end of a cycle. It could be that if Jody Ball doesn't win, he's just gone into politics, not forever, and he might bow out of politics because the death card isn't physical death. But don't you find that strange, viewers? He gets these really positive cards, but then the final one is the death card. I'm umming and ahhing because I might need a clarifier on each of their final cards because it's kind of weird. So please clarify the nostalgia card for me, for Jim Cooper. Clarification on the nostalgia card. Queen of Pentacles. He is attracting more women. This is the older woman. Pentacles are about money, but they're also ruled by earth, and it's also about the body. And I think this speaks to his very compelling stance on healthcare. So women, particularly older women, might be more inclined to vote for Bredesen. So what about the death card for Jodie Ball? It's a bit odd. Can we please have a clarification for Jodie Ball? The Moon, deception. It's also a very female card. I think this vote's going to be decided by women and their attitude to healthcare. So you've got the Queen of Pentacles, who understands the body, who understands how important it is, and those women who want to vote essentially for healthcare. And the female card of deception, like the Marsha Blackburn, which is women who should know better, who are not stupid women who just buy into that Republican narrative of a woman's place is in the home. Stuff, they could be deceived enough to vote for Ball. I'm going to say reluctantly, I'm a bit of a fence sitter on this, I'm going to say, depending on the women who turn out, that he might just pull it off. Bredesen, I mean. Might just pull it off. I so hope so. So that's Tennessee. From my perspective, let's have a look now at what's going on for Nikki Haley. Now, she's one of Trump's more successful appointments. She's been a great attack dog for him. He loves an attack dog. Some commentators were saying when there was the UN delegation who laughed out loud at Trump, she found that humiliating. She's a UN rep, and the UN are laughing at Trump, and ergo, the US. But I don't think that's something she'd resign over. So I don't really subscribe to that theory. I think she would have been cranky about it, really cranky about it, but I don't know. Another angle that I think is more interesting is she's in massive debt. These are public figures that are available on her ethics application. So she has, I think, around $1 million worth of personal debt. Now, she's a very capable woman. She's capable of getting a good job and handling that debt. But it's quite massive, and apparently $65,000 of it is credit card debt. How do people rack up $65,000 in credit card debt? What credit card or cards lets that happen? I don't know. So, Nikki Haley's resignation, what was that about? What was it about, really? Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley. Viewers, if you want to see a character reading on Nikki Haley, I did months ago. I think it's called Nikki Haley, Girl Scout with an Uzi, if you want to go back on the playlist. Find out what motivates her. She's massively ambitious. So Nikki Haley's resignation. All right. She's got big cards in the sense of the Star, which is very nice, inspiration and hope. But in this case, she literally is a star. She is the shining light of this administration. She is certainly the Star. She's also been a very good emissary for the King, the King's messenger. She has managed to turn his inarticulate mumbling into a position. I don't agree with any of those positions, but that's not the point. What I actually think, she's been a very successful messenger for Trump. She's as smart as a whip. The Page of Pentacles is a person with a very high IQ who's capable in lots of ways. She's young, still young enough to make a very big career and following the money. Now, speaking of money, the King of Pentacles. Who is that in her life? Does anyone know anything about Nikki Hayley's husband? Has Nikki Hayley's husband got a gambling problem or something? The energy I'm getting from this is a slightly older man who's mad about money, whose world is ruled by money, who's an extremely greedy man. And I think this speaks to the debt that she's run up. To me, she's run it up on behalf of a man. That's curious. She also gets the Knight of Swords. It could be revenge, but revenge on who? I think she'd still go on to support Trump, even though she would know what an absolute imbecile he is. She would know more than most people how totally inept he is, but she is an absolute Republican to the bone marrow. So she will fight on and probably do very well. I think, I'm just going to look at her ambition now, specifically what she's going to do. So, she might go into private business for a while, just to pay off the debt. But what's coming up in the next few years for Nikki Haley? And has she got presidential aspirations? Nikki Haley. Next few years for Nikki Haley. Yeah. Oh, I've got two cards there. All right. Here's this one. Her story was she wanted a break from public service. Now, as we know, Republicans' idea of public service is particularly interesting. It's like, how can I get richer? That's their idea of public service. It's like, how can public service me? But her line was she wanted a break from public service. So there it is. It's the retreat card. Government in the past. So she does want a break from, literally, from government for a while. She's been fending them off, fending off the critiques of other countries of what Donald Trump is doing. No wonder she's exhausted, and it also explains on some level the weird timing. Why didn't she wait? I think it's because she's handled her job very, very well, but it's more exhausting than probably you or I appreciate, because his weakness is foreign policy, because he's inconsistent, because he makes all the allies nervous, because he doesn't believe in climate change, because he's such a dinosaur. Her job is much harder than probably we've appreciated. She's dealing with international players who are scandalized by Trump's behavior, and she's had to defend him. It's one thing for Sarah Huckabee Sanders to have to defend his mutant mutterings, but it's another thing on the world stage, so I'm not surprised. The question was the future. She's prepared to work really hard. She does not shy away from work. So she'll have a break, but it won't be for long. She's going to work really hard in the future. She also gets the Knight of Wands, which is the cautious warrior. And I think what this says, the cautious warrior, because she has got ambition, Ace of Wands, I think she's very interested in 2020 and running for the presidency. The caution, this card I think is the key. This card is saying it's going to get very ugly between now and 2020. So if I want to run for president, I don't want to be caught in this shit that is going to be the next 2 years. I'm going to keep my nose clean and come back in 2020 and run for president. That's how I see it. That would make sense. She's not stupid. I think that's exactly why she's pulling out before the midterms. She doesn't want to be associated with any of it. And she's going to arrive with everyone remembering her as very efficient and very capable. And now I'm prepared to go back into public service and be your president. So that's a story for another day. When I did a reading on her before, I also saw presidential aspirations. So this confirms, it's an update. There we go for Nikki Hayley. Bye, guys.